Guys, I've been thinking about it, and there's a lot of people that says a lot of things about me, and I've got to start not worrying about that anymore. It gets so old what some people continue to say and have no facts. Now, anything I say, some folks, they tell me, prove it, Watachi, prove it. Prove it, Watachi, prove it. Especially when I say I haven't paid or filed federal income taxes in over 20 years, or in 20 years at least. Even when I was working for the government. Prove it, Watachi, prove it. No, I don't have to. Folks, I don't know what else I need to do to prove to you people that I'm not hiding from anybody anymore. I used to be hiding from everybody. That's a fact. When I was online, a lot of times I was trying to hide who I actually was. And it worked out pretty good. On MySpace, MeTube, MySpace, Facebook, and YouTube, I had enough aliases, but I gave them my real name. The only thing about it was my real name had more people named that than my aliases. When I came by the time I got to where this channel started, I figure I was probably already 2 years into this town. Some of these videos were fights that happened after they are claiming I already am a resident of this township. But they couldn't prove it. I couldn't go down here to the driver's license branch with any bills. I had nothing that I could give to the driver's license branch that proved I was a resident. But I was given a ticket they claimed was suspended license, driving on a suspended license. Then claimed it was because they knew I had been here. I had been popping back and forth from Indiana over to here to see my son and my daughter-in-law when they got married, and we were popping around. And then I was popping around to my mom and dad, so there were times I was living down there. These guys, they were trying to pinpoint me somewhere, right? My driver's license was where I was living. But they claimed because I didn't have my license turned over into an Ohio driver's license. And I was working, folks, up to 6 months after this trial happened, claiming that I was driving on a suspended license. Both the companies I was working for, I was working off of a driver's license, Uber and Lyft. This trial claimed that I was driving on a suspended license. The only thing they could come up with was because I was not driving using an Ohio license. Well, it took them prosecuting me for driving on a suspended license, giving me a year in prison and a $300 and some fine. That's what they did. I wasn't driving without a license or on a suspended license, but that's what they did to me. Now, the arresting officer, which he works for the SWAT team of Youngstown, Ohio State, or that city, was the arresting officer on me, and I actually took a gun off of me the night they claimed I was running from an officer and driving on a suspended license. Now, the officer that arrested me, him and his partner, arrested me on fleeing from an officer because it was called out. And we even waited for one officer to get there, the one that works for the Youngstown SWAT team. The other officer was standing there talking to me. I came back from the grocery store, pulled into my driveway, got out, me and him's talking, and he keeps telling me Nick's on his way, Nick's on his way. When Nick got there, we had a talk, and he told me he was going to have to arrest me. And I asked him, do you want me to give my gun to my wife? And he asked me if I would let him take my gun off of me and give it to my wife. I said, yes, go ahead, Nick. And he did it. And this officer told them in my trial, same officer, when I asked him, he was in the witness stand. I was the lawyer asking him questions. I asked him, why didn't you write the ticket for me driving on a suspended license? And he said, because you gave me a license. I ran it. It was a legal license. And there wasn't no way I was going to write a ticket for you driving on a suspended license. He said that in a witness stand, folks. I was still charged for driving on a suspended license, that I still have the license that wasn't suspended, and not even the Ohio Department of Transportation will tell you my license was suspended. I still got a year in jail for that, which I did 6 months on probation. And I also got a $300-some fine. Now, if they didn't get me for that, then the whole stop and my video that shows this officer that I already filed harassment charges on, trying to stop me as a security agent of a grocery store, he was claiming he was doing a traffic stop. He wasn't even in a police car. I didn't know what police car he even drove. And I actually, when they claimed I was driving on a suspended license, I pulled up on a police car that had his windows up, tinted windows. And when I pulled up to ask him to run my driver's license, it was the officer that claimed I was driving on a suspended license and gave me a ticket for it. Now, I just pull up to him. I'm asking, and as soon as he rolls his window down, I look at him and said, oh, we have a conversation. I wasn't recording this one, and I told him that from the start. I wasn't recording it. And I'm honest, when I used to tell these guys I was recording them or not recording, I was honest about it. And they all know it. So I told him, and we had a conversation. Now, he just had me ticketed for driving on a suspended license. I just pulled up to him driving a vehicle, but he didn't give me another ticket for driving on a suspended license. Why wouldn't he have? He should have arrested me immediately, took me to jail, impounded my Jeep. But he didn't. These things you guys got to go back and figure out. You know, I can't let you guys all know how and what was going on for every second in between all these videos I was doing, because of the fact I was doing these videos, folks, so many of them, that they were getting up in this police department, probably even the sheriff's department, Governor DeWine's department, the attorney generals, and whoever else was involved around here, township trustees, all of them were probably getting up every morning. I know the police department and the sheriff's department were getting up every morning wondering what I put out the night before. And they were even being discussed in their meetings. I know this because I was being told by the people that were in the meetings. It got to the point I knew so much, and I was putting out so much in my videos, they knew that the people in the meetings were talking to me. So the upper brass in this township said, if you talk to Watachi, we want a complete report. Videos, we want everything. They didn't have cameras or nothing back then, folks. They didn't have none of that. But they wanted a full police report, what I said, what they said. That's a fact. But today, now, I told these guys back when I first, all this channel started, and I was recording all of them, doing all kinds of stuff, doing townspeople. I was recording everybody, folks. And I told them, I told the police officers, I said, I'm going to see what I can do about getting some cameras on you guys. Some of them, not all of them. And I assure you, there's at least 2 or 3 of them, maybe 5, that will assure you of that, back that up. I told them, said then, once we get cameras on you guys, I can put my cameras down. My job's no longer needed. Well, let's put it like this. Where I live today, they got new police cars. 360-degree camera on the dash, 360-degree camera on the rear window. They could see everything from the back window and everything from the front window, 360 degrees, anytime they want. Boardman Police Department officers are now carrying cameras right on their chest. Oh, yeah. Now, I know some of them hate me for it. A lot of them up at the upper brass. I just had some of them tell me. I told them, said, hey, I appreciate you guys getting all these cameras on the cars and officers. I appreciate it. They were like, do you not understand that we now have to fulfill anybody that wants to? We're getting so many calls for FOIA requests on all the camera footages that's taking up a lot of time. Well, it's the way it's supposed to be, though. It really is. Come on. I used those same, before you guys had cameras around here, guys. I used the same FOIA requests. Maybe if everything was going good, everybody was doing right, I wouldn't have made this channel and the channel before that and the channel before that and the channel before that. Maybe. You never know. I was fighting for rights. Still am. I was fighting for justice. Still am. I don't see it anywhere. I don't see it either side of the Democrats or the Republicans. I don't see where the Constitution's still in place, because if it was, what would it make a difference whether there was a Democrat or a Republican in place? Anybody want to answer that question? Come on. You guys stopped calling yourselves a republic and started calling yourself a democracy. Democracy is mob rule, majority rule. That's what it is. A republic isn't that. Love you guys. God loves you more than I could ever even imagine. And Jesus came here for all of us. He didn't come here for a handful or part of us. He came here for all of us. But you and I have to seek him. If he knocks, he might even knock on the door seeking you. If he knocks and you don't answer, that's on you. Hopefully, you figure out that he might have been knocking, because he was knocking on my door long time ago, long before I answered. I had to go hunting for him. You guys don't need to do that. Don't get that far away from God. Seek Jesus. Be blessed. Live in peace. He is the way, the truth, and the life. Till next time, guys. Love y'all.